Great. So you're all back from the first session. So let's go to our next point on the agenda. We're going to be given an overview of the Global Climate Action Agenda that I alluded to in the beginning, and the floor is to Frank McGovern.
Thanks again, Petra, and hopefully this will work. And I think this actually addresses one of the points that was made by Miles. Not Miles, sorry. Pierce, I'm calling you Miles. This seems to be a feature of this meeting. So you use this remote. Okay. There's many features to the UN process, the UNFCCC process. And one of the features that's, I think, most hidden is the Global Climate Action Agenda. And I just wanted to raise some awareness about it. And so this, what's called the GCAA, or the Action Agenda, it's evolved over many COPs. It was there before Paris. Paris gave it a push. And it's a process that's not owned by the parties. It's owned by the COP presidencies. And that gives us a certain freedom and liberty from the constraints that exist within the process, which we're all familiar with. And it's progressed in parallel with the COPs. Through a series of meetings under various headings, and its focus is the urgent need to scale up the global response to climate change. And it's voluntary, there's multiple actors, it's not just countries, it's businesses, it's various civil society groups as well, and there's multiple teams there. There's actually over 80 initiatives. Many of these are linked and have some sort of overlaps, but they do focus on the themes that we are looking at here, including energy, food and agriculture, land use. And they're not addressed, I suppose, in a single initiative. There's quite a lot of initiatives that look at different aspects of those. And as I say, they're not linked to the process. They're parallel to the process, but they do influence the process, and some of the influences were evident in the first global stocktake. The last COP in Belém, ahead of that, Brazil did a structuring of the Global Climate Action Agenda to focus it in on addressing the outcomes from the first GST. And each year, there's a yearbook is produced which contains a lot of interesting and useful information. And I just want to highlight some of them for the issues that we're discussing here. And on energy, industry and transport, for instance, it looks at the progress in renewables, that 91% of new renewables are cheaper than fossil fuels. Clean to fossil fuel ratio reached 10 to 1 in 2024, and EVs, etc. Also, they talk about the gaps where energy efficiency has declined, the grid investment is critically low, the sort of things that I think Pierce was pointing to when he was mentioning the wider issues that should be part of the indicators. So there's sort of a ready, one I prepared earlier version of those some of those indicators, Pierce, that are out there. And they use information from various sources, including ARENA and the IEA, to update their numbers. Some of the numbers are not that current, and I suppose that's part of a feature of where we are. They talk about the indicators of share of coal electricity generation, unabated fossil gas and electricity, all of those things. And I think those are a very valuable source of information and analysis that's presented in those. And that's from this year's or last year's yearbook from the Global Climate Action Agenda. On food, agriculture and food, the suggestion of progress is emissions intensity declined across the agricultural practices. Crop yields and meat productivity improved. And ruminant meat consumption declined in high-consuming countries. And then we still have gaps in terms of degraded land and land lost annually. So that information is floating out there. One of the challenges is how to bring it into the process, and that's something that we'll be looking at in the run-up to the second global stocktake and how to embed that information. So, as I said, some of the themes, such as the methane pledge, which was outside of the process, got reflected in the first global stocktake outcomes. Also, the issues around renewables and energy efficiency were also out there before they got into the process. So that was just to raise awareness of this activity. Those yearbooks are online, and I think it's worth highlighting that. So thank you very much. And what I'll do is I'll hand back to Patrick.